have you ever found yourself repeating the same request time after time and nobody's listening? You end up getting to a place where you need to shout, or you just give up and you do it all yourself. Many of us went to the direction of conscious and gentle parenting because we want to parent our children from a place of love and acceptance. But somewhere along the way, we have fallen into the trap where we believe that directing our children means that we are dominating them. Today, I'm going to share a 5-step framework that will help you regain your authority as a parent, not by breaking your child's spirit, but by leading them from a place of benevolence and love. My name is Efrat. I'm a mom of 3 boys, ages 4, 8, and 12. I'm a parenting coach, and I'm passionate about integrating ideas from ancient wisdom into the way that we parent our children today. If you enjoy this type of content, please press the like button below so other people can find it as well. Now let's dive in. So what is the 5-step framework that I'm talking about that will help you step into that place of authority as a secure leader in your house? The first step is belief. The second step is emotional regulation. The third step is consistency. The fourth is perspective shift. And the fifth step is execution. Let's talk about belief. Many parents today have stopped believing that they actually have a right to lead their children. We have adopted so many beliefs in our society that are really thwarting us from really stepping into the place of an authority figure for our children. Some of those beliefs are democracy and human rights. Some of it is just a general mistrust in authority figures in general in our society. Some of it has to do with the fact that we believe that when we set boundaries on our children, we are actually thwarting their freedom, and freedom is something that has to be above all. I talk about these ideas in a more deeper way in a different video that I created. You can find that up here. But what I want to stress here is that as long as you don't believe that you have a right to direct your children, as long as you're not stepping into your rightful role as a leader of your family, your children will doubt your instructions. So if you doubt your right to lead, they will doubt your instructions. So what I want to suggest is that you need to start to ignore the noise and trust your role. Trust that you are the chosen guardian for your child. And if you want to take this to a more spiritual level, you can think about it as your child chose you to be their parent, and you were trusted by God to do this role. So you have what it takes in order to lead them, and you have to step into that role because that is what your children need from you. The second step of this framework is regulation. We have to set boundaries without anger. When we get angry, we lose our authority. We become led by our emotions rather than leading the child. So many of us are afraid to lose control and yell at our children and be so angry that we're saying things that we don't mean to. And the reason we are afraid of doing that is because we are afraid that we are hurting our children, right? We are afraid that we're going to traumatize them. But that's not the reason. Our children can handle, our emotional bursts once in a while. They're strong. Our children are very resilient. But the reason is actually not that. The reason that you have to regulate your emotions is because if you don't regulate your emotions and you let your anger and your bad emotions control you, at that specific moment, you're losing your authority. You're going down into your child's level and you're interacting with them in a way that is immature and childish. And when you are doing that, they're in control of the situation and not you. So you have to try, no matter what, to neutralize your emotions. What do I mean by neutralizing the emotions? Do everything in your power not to let your emotions overcome you. Let that burst of energy out elsewhere and check your thoughts. There's another video where I dive deeper into those tools. But just in general, we have to understand that we have to move ourselves from that emotionally charged place into a neutral place where the emotions are not controlling us and our authority becomes quiet and calm. We have to make sure that our emotions are under control because real authority is quiet. Real authority comes from a place of groundedness and regulation. So 2 of the ways that I talked about in that video, which you can find the link to up here, are basically neutralizing your energy by, first of all, making sure that you are being aware of your thoughts and you're not thinking thoughts that are fueling that anger, frustration, resentment, whatever it is that you're feeling inside your body. The other way is the body work, where you're calming your nervous system down. That can be done by taking deep breaths, drinking water, walking outside, just staring outside of the window, or it can be in a more active way of just swaying your body, maybe dancing, maybe jumping around, or maybe squeezing something very, very hard, squeezing your fists, squeezing a towel, biting on something very, very hard, because that is what's going to help you let out that burst of energy, that burst of adrenaline and cortisol that is flooding your body, and just let it out so you can get back to calm. So in this second step, you're doing anything in your power in order to neutralize the energy so you can be that quiet authority that your children are going to respect. The third step of this framework is consistency. When your boundaries stem from your values, you're going to be consistent in your boundaries. Think about the boundaries that are easy for you to hold and the boundaries that are not easy for you to hold. The boundaries that are easy for you are the ones that are taken for granted in your family because that is the way that your family lives. So, for example, if you are a religious family and you keep certain rules about food, your kids know that these are boundaries that they cannot cross because that's not even an option in their mind. So, the boundaries that stem from our values are going to be the boundaries that are the most strong. Boundaries that are hard to keep are usually the ones inconsistent with your values. You have to get clarity on what matters to you, and the boundary will stand firm. So before you're deciding on what your boundaries are, you have to decide on what your values are. I've created a free workbook for you to figure exactly what that is. You can find that in the description below. In this workbook, what you're asked to do is to look at a list of values and determine what are your top values. What are your 10 top values? And then you have to narrow that down into your top 3 values. You can do this exercise by yourself or with your partner. And you can also include your children if they are around age 7 and up. You can include them in this exercise and maybe come up with the values of your family. When your boundaries will stem from those values, the boundaries are going to be much easier to hold because they are consistent with the way that you live, with the way that you run your household, with the things that you buy for your house, with the boundaries that you set for your children. So everything is congruent, everything is consistent, and those boundaries are going to be boundaries that are going to be much easier to keep. The boundaries that are harder for you to keep, that you're not consistent about, ask yourself, do you want to start being consistent with them, or should you drop them altogether? Because that inconsistency is making you lose your authority as a parent. The fourth step is to shift your perspective. We have to remember that discipline is for them, not you. Discipline is for our children. You are teaching them social behavior, what is acceptable, and how to care for themselves. They don't need to like the boundary, but you must know inside of you that it's serving them. Many times it's hard for us to discipline our children because we feel guilty, because we feel that we're disciplining them because of our own comfort, because we need them to do the things that we need them to do. But that's actually a very wrong mindset. We have to hold that mindset in our mind that we are disciplining our children for them. It's for their own good. And when we come from that perspective, our children feel that. And that is related to the consistency part, right? Because when we are setting boundaries, because that is the right thing to do, that is the right thing for you. It's the right thing for us as a family. It's the right thing to do because it's congruent with a bigger picture, with the values of our family. So we're not disciplining them for us. We're not disciplining them because we're selfish. We're disciplining them for them. And it's such an important thing to hold in our minds when we are trying to set boundaries for our children, because they will feel that energy. And that is what a benevolent leader does. A benevolent leader is somebody that leads the people underneath him towards a bigger goal, towards a bigger aim that is outside of himself, that is outside of them, that is something that is sacred, something that is the North Star that we're all moving towards, right? It's a value-driven leadership. So if your children feel that you are value driven, if your children feel like you're doing what you are doing for this bigger picture, for this bigger goal, they will be much more inspired to follow you. The fifth step is execution. You have to make sure that when you decided on a boundary, the boundary must be kept. Your children need to know that your word is a word. Integrity creates security. Do not say it if you don't mean to ensure it happens. Your children have to know that when you said something, it's going to happen. Whether it's something negative or something positive. If you promise something, you're going to keep your promise. If you promise to give them something, if you promise to take them somewhere, if you promise to do something fun with them, you have to keep your promise, right? But at the same time, if you promise that there's going to be consequences if they don't do something that you ask them to, you have to keep that as well. That is what's gonna make your children trust you. That is what's gonna make them understand that you are serious and that your word is always a word. So your word cannot be bent. It cannot be bent by emotional dysregulation. It cannot be bent by a whim of a moment. It cannot be bent by external things that are intervening with your mission as a parent. So this framework is the path to secure leadership. The first is to believe in yourself, reclaim your role as the benevolent leader of your house. Regulate, neutralize your anger. Make sure that when you're asking something from your kids, do not go into a power struggle. Make sure that you don't let your emotions lead you, but you are leading your emotions and you are the leader of the home. Make sure you're consistent with your boundaries. Have your boundaries rooted in values. That will make it much more easier for your children to follow your lead. Adopt the perspective that the discipline is for your kids' benefit. It's not for you. You're not doing it because you're selfish. You're not doing it because that is what's comfortable for you right now. You're doing it because you need to socialize your kids. You need to help them mature. You need to help them grow. You need to help them learn that there are other people in this world that they need to take into consideration. They need to consider their future self. You're helping them grow out of their selfish place, which they naturally are as children, into people that are going to be contributing members of society. And the last point is that you need to keep your word. You have to make sure that if you decided on a boundary, that boundary is going to be kept, and that is happening no matter what. If you do these 5 things, if you believe in yourself, regulate yourself, be consistent, have that perspective shift, and execute on your boundary, your children are going to start following you every single time. Let me know in the comments below which one of these are hardest for you to do. Are you not believing in yourself enough? Do you have a hard time regulating? Are you inconsistent with your boundaries? Are you feeling guilty that you're setting boundaries for your children? Or are you not keeping your word? Let me know in the comments below and let's see how we can work on that. If you enjoyed this episode, check out another episode where I dive deeper into the ways that you can neutralize those bad emotions that are coming up for you by monitoring your thoughts and calming your nervous system down. You can find the link right here.